and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Valli Mataji, would you like to read? We are reading from chapter 14. So it is text number 17 now. Yeah, I'll read this. Satvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada moho tamaso bhavato jnanameva cha. From the mode of a goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of a passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develops foolishness, madness, and illusion. I think this was Vikas Prabhu already did. Text number 18. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishtati rajasaha jaganya guna vrittistha ado gachanti tamasaha. Those situated in the mode of a goodness gradually go upwards to the higher planets. Those in the mode of a passion live on earthly planets, and those in a abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish world. नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति. When one properly sees that in all actions or all activities no other performer is at work, then these three modes of material nature, and he knows that the Supreme Lord, who is it transcendental to all the modes, he attends my spiritual natures. Okay. Gunanetanati Gunanetan Gunaneta Natitinde नहीं एक सेकंड गुणानेतानतीत्यंत्री त्रिन देहि देह समुद्भवान जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैर विमुक्तो मृतमश्नुते. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and from their distress, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Hari Bol. Mataji, are you ready? Valli Mataji? She dropped. Okay, let me read one more. Arjuna was कैर्लिङ्गे स्त्रीतिन गुणानेता नहीं just a second. कैर्लिङ्गे स्त्रीन् गुणानेता नतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचार कथं चैतांस त्रीन् गुणान् नतिवर्तते. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior and how does it transcend the mode of the nature? Hari Bol. Haladar Das Prabhuji, can you please read these four?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Text number 22, 325. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Prakasam cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava nadvesti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati udasina vadasino gunayyo na vichalyate gunavartanta ityevam yogatistati nengate samadukha sukha swastha samalostashma kanchanaha तुल्य प्रिया प्रियो धीरस तुल्य निंदात्म संस्तुति मानापमानयोस्तुल्य तुल्यो मित्रादिपक्षयोः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी गुणातीतः स उच्यते. Okay, you want me to finish it, Mataji?
Prabhuji, just two let, right? Harshita Mataji can finish. So you
let me read the translation. Okay.
Yes.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate the illuminations, attachment, and delusions when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is answering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and degraded alike, happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone and piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in the praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all the material activities. Such a person is said to have a transcendent the modes of nature. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Harshita Mataji, can you please finish this last two? Thank you.
मां च यो व्याभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. Translation. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. 627. ब्राह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्य व्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्यैकान्तिकस्य च. Hare Krishna. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for reading. Thanks. Is there any question on this chapter or anything you want to discuss, or we can start the next chapter? Okay.
I'd like to hear more elaborations from Vikas Prabhu about this chapter. He was discussing about how important this chapter is because Lord says is that has more knowledge than others,
Sure, please, Vikas Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Vikas Prabhu? Yeah.
Yeah,
please.
sorry, I was trying to mute myself and then it wasn't. So, what I had said, Prabhuji, is that, in various places, beginning from chapter 9, etc., the Lord says, Arjun, I am going to give you confidential knowledge. I am going to give you something that is the Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam, right? So then when he says, I am again going to give you Param Bhuya Pravakshyami, Jnanam Jnananam Uttamam. So we have to understand that is it that this is better than what was described in chapter 9, and the Lord is continuing to say so. Now he will say multiple times that this is better. Let me tell you something more. So what does that mean, and in what context is the Lord saying this? So if we understand Bhagavad Gita, and again this is my perspective, I hope I am not going beyond what is actually said in the Bhagavad Gita, but in terms of a discussion and better understanding for all of us, I am saying this, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when the Lord, the Bhagavad Gita, the construction, how Bhagavad Gita adds up is essentially there are those 5 topics, right? The Jiva, the Prakriti, the Karma, then there is the Parameshwara, and what is it? Time. Yes. So those are the 5 elements, and they are covered in three sections of Bhagavad Gita. The first six chapters are around what people sometimes refer to as Karma Yoga. The second six chapters, the middle six chapters are Bhakti Yoga. And the last last section, last six chapters, people refer to them as, I have heard some acharyas now refer to them as Jnana Yoga. But my understanding of what has transpired up to now, and it happens in Bhagavad Gita, is in the first six chapters, Krishna actually starts by saying, in the very next verse or second verse that Krishna speaks, he says that you, me, everybody, we are not this body, we are the soul. And then the sixth chapter ends where Krishna says, and the best of the soul is the one who is a yogi, who is always engaged in my loving devotional service. So, if you really understand what the first six chapters are, it is all about you're not the body, you're the soul. And as a soul, your duty, your constitutional position is to be engaged in the loving service of me. So, in some sense, if we understand that Arjun Maharaj has understood that, then the next six chapters are Krishna is saying, so why me, in a way? So he's explaining about himself, and he's going through that. So, of course, that is the most confidential aspect of knowledge. It is revealed and it is hidden actually in the middle six chapters. So then, when we start chapter 13, Arjun Maharaj now knows, he's actually said so in chapter 10 also, that whatever you are saying, I'm completely in alignment, you are the Parabrahma, etc. So Arjun Maharaj has realized that he is a soul. He started to think like a soul, not because of bodily afflictions. And as a soul, when he knows that he now has to do what Krishna is telling him, because that is how Krishna wants him to serve him. So why is the need, or what is the need for the other six chapters? And the need there is because Arjuna then is in a way acting like a bewildered soul and says, okay, so I am your part and I'm supposed to serve you. So what is all this around me? Why is this here? And what am I doing in this place? So then Krishna says, oh, and from that perspective, now we can understand why Arjuna is saying, so what is this kshetra? What is all this? What is this kshetragya? So why am I here and what is this around me? As in the subtle body and the gross body. And then he's asking, so what is matter? What is karma? So he has his six questions in there. So then Krishna answers those questions. Then in this chapter, Krishna is now saying how to come out of this. So how can the kshetragya not be bound by the kshetra? So normally a farmer is not bound to the field. The field is running because of the farmer, not the farmer is, not the other way around. So we find in this particular place that the farmer has been bound to the field. He cannot leave this field. He somehow is all attached and keeps coming back to this field. So Krishna is saying, and now know the knowledge how you can come out. What I found this as significant in the sense that there is this a word in the first verse where the Lord uses the word Yad Gyatva Munayah Sarve. And Prabhupada has defined Muni previously, I think in fourth or fifth chapter, where he says Munis are those who try to agitate their minds in various ways and try to have a different conclusion. So this is very guhya for the Munis who want to speculate, who want to think, who want to analyze, almost like on the Sankhya Yoga basis. What is this? What are the different elements? How to think about everything around us. So for them, this is the most guhyatama. It is in my mind, because the word is used like that and the sentence and the phrasing is happening like that, I believe that the Lord is basically indirectly saying, okay, but not for the bhaktas. Bhaktas have a very simple way to do it. Just serve me. You don't have to worry about anything. He said so, I think, in chapter 12, verse 5, he said that. And he's also said in the 12, chapter 12, verses, I think, 10, 11, and 12. Sorry, 9 to 12, I think, where he says, what are the progressive ways to achieve him? So he said, if you just work with complete mind, the mind completely engaged in my service, then that is the best. Then he says, if you cannot work with mind completely devoted to me, then work in my knowledge. Then, but that is still bhakti. Then he keeps giving various phrases, various ways to achieve him. So the point again is that the guhyatamam knowledge, the confidential nature of the knowledge is revealed for different types of seekers of knowledge. Here it is Guhyatamam for the Muni. They have achieved him in this manner. But that does not mean that bhaktas also have to achieve the Lord in this manner, is what I had said, Prabhu. I think that is what you are referring to. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yes. Very. Yeah, the center point, you got it, Prabhu. Yes, very nice. Thank you. And I still see the points like we are not the doers, It's overall, my view is like that, more or less, is that like we are not the doers. She's doing, we're part of it, his game, And that's that's what I keep looking at it, the points. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vikas Prabhu. Thank you, Aladur Das Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, the
Okay.
way you, I, I, I I want to say something. Maybe I am wrong, but it's not like we are not the doers. We are definitely influencing. We are acting. Among the five factors of action, the jiva is part of it. But
No.
how is the jiva part of the action? Jiva desires, and then the Lord enables. So he's the Upadrashta and Anumanta, right? So we are the passenger. The passenger is not the car, as in the body, and passenger is also not the driver. The passenger is essentially what is our constitution. The passenger's constitution is Sat, as in it is going to always exist. Chit, as in it is all knowable. And Ananda, it is bliss. Now, how can these three things connect with matter? So that connection is the Lord, who is the driver, who is saying, you are sitting in this instrument as a passenger. And then in various verses, he says, I run this machine. I run everything around you. So in this chapter also, what the Lord is saying is the action and reaction, because you have a desire. So then that desire from the heart is translated through the intelligence, through the mind, and through the energy, and then through the senses. So all of these in chapter 7, I think he said that they are all my differentiated energies. So through his energies, our desires are getting channelized. So think of this as an interactive game, Prabhu. So the hardware is not ours. So it's like, your kids may understand this. So you have a game box or whatever. That hardware is not ours. The software in that game box is also not ours. But we are pushing the buttons through our desires. which then changes how the game is getting played, at what level the game is getting played. That is all interactive. And this is Lord's Maya, that for billions and trillions of people, he has one single game that is so interactive that it keeps changing with everybody's desire. And we keep moving it and molding it. The painting keeps changing all the time. Yet, the Lord is so masterful in his software that without doing anything, the painting is always beautiful. The outcome is always just and right. The outcome will always be according to his will. So he plays it also. He's also playing. He's a very skillful player. Without doing anything, he's playing. But even though billions and trillions of jivas are expressing and getting their desires fulfilled or frustrated, still he is weaving the cloth in such a way that at the end he gets what he wants. And that is his beauty, that is the majesty. We should all enjoy that this is how he's laid it out for us. So in a way, what is externally happening, we have no influence over it, because these are atoms reacting with atoms, but we are influencing how it is happening. We cannot say that we are not part of that action. We desire, that desire is getting fulfilled, that desire changes the world around us. If today somebody desires that there is a barren ground and there should be a land there, a building there, and he puts in the efforts, and the Lord, as Anumanta, as the approver, he says, yeah, sure, go ahead. You will have a building, then there will be a building. So we cannot say that we are not part of the actions. But we convert what is happening externally through the gross body and the sense and sense objects. We create an impression on our subtle mind or the subtle body. So that impression is what perpetuates. So those impressions are of three types: sattva, raja, and tama. So if we create one of these type of impressions, that propels a different type of desire and karma, and that cycle continues. So basically, when in the later verses the Lord is saying come out of these three modes, he's essentially saying try to not have impressions created, try to keep your subtle body uh, impression free from what is happening with the external body and the rest of the world, the kshetra and kshetragya. Don't get too entangled. The subtle body, when it doesn't get entangled, then what happens is its attraction to look at the TV and the game goes away. It starts to look inside because activity is still there. Even mind intelligence don't become zero. They will start to then engage somewhere else. That engagement loosens the effects on this body and how it is working. And slowly you become internalized. And there you will realize, oh, I'm really not this body. What was I doing? And then when you realize the soul level, you are at the Brahma level. And that is also mentioned in the verses. So, because the soul's nature is Brahman, we've read that, I think, in chapter 8. So, once you are at Brahma level, slowly the realization, and Krishna will say that in, I think, he's already said that in chapter 10 also, that he gives the Buddhi Yoga. So from there, slowly we understand the Paramatma feature, and then we can understand the Bhagwan feature. But this is for, as I again said, those who are coming at this knowledge at the Lord through the Jnana Marg. So Jnana Marg is again a Karma Marg is progressive, Jnana Marg is progressive, Yoga Marg is also progressive. There are steps by steps by steps. But a Bhakta is directly related to Bhagwan. He doesn't have to go through these paths, is what also we should remember. Hare Krishna.
Oh my God. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your education to me. Thanks.
Oh, no, I might be wrong also, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
No.
Thank you so much,
It,
everyone.
it clears out confusions in my mind. Yes, thank you, sir. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, anything else? Anybody would like to comment anything? Okay, then we will go to chapter number 15. About the 14 and what Vikas Prabhu said, I mean, I really liked all those points. When Krishna is saying that again and again, that confidential knowledge. It was, I heard from someone that it is like the confidential, then most confidential, and the most confidential. So the level of the confidentiality, it keeps on increasing when this sentence come again and again in the Bhagavad Gita. So we can go back and check that, like, where it is coming, what all places. And we can see that, like, how it is more and more and more and more guhyatam. It keeps becoming more and more confidential. Because as one level is passed, then it is given to Arjuna second higher level confidential knowledge, and then the higher one. Second point about what Halada Das Prabhuji was asking, we are not the doer. And Vikas Prabhu very nicely explained. I'll just say it in 2 sentences that, like, doer of what, that we have to really, that is a question that we should ask. Are we considering that I'm doer of, like, whatever this all the day-to-day activities and everything? So that is the illusion. So when we say that illusion, even this world also, and now this chapter 15 we are starting, this world, most of the people, they think that this world is just a dream or, like, illusion. But then this world is dream and illusion, or our thinking or thought process about some of the thing is illusion. That is, like, more we have to focus on, that this all panchamahabhuta, everything, it is real. But we are thinking that Krishna is, like, is not a supreme person, but I am the enjoyer. I am the one, for me this world is created. This mentality or this thing, that this thought process is the illusion. So like that, doer of, like, all the activities, we are not the doer of all these activities, but we are doer in a way that, like, we create this body because of our desires. So there is a misunderstanding about what we do and what we do what we are not responsible for. And three modes of material, three modes are acting, and then certain places we are acting. So we have to understand that where we are doer and where we are not. So same way in the 15th chapter all explains about how this world is there is a real world there. This is a reflection, but again we have to understand that, like, what parts are real in this world and what parts are illusion in this world. Knowing that, understanding that, is understanding the Krishna's most confidential knowledge. Because of the Maya and because the way everything is created, we get so much confused that this is what, we get confused, and we misunderstand things. We think that, like, rope as a snake, but rope exists and snake also exists. It is just our misunderstanding. So this misunderstanding we have to clear, and this misunderstanding, it's very hard to clarify that. And because this one by one Krishna is opening in this Bhagavad Gita this confidential knowledge. It is saying that, like, okay, listen carefully, I'm telling you more confidential, because there is a, like, bigger misunderstanding that I'm going to clear. Then this is a bigger misunderstanding. So like that, if you look at all these chapters, you will understand it in a, like, slightly different way. So let's start with the 15th chapter. And let me just, sorry, just a second, let me open it. So, very first verse where Krishna is saying that, like the Supreme Personality of a Godhead said, that it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymn. One who knows this tree is a knower of the Vedas. Now, again, Krishna, after explaining about the three modes, and like, three modes is like you see it only in the material world. He is again talking about this material world, that it is compared with the tree, a banyan tree, whose roots are upwards and the branches are down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymn. And then why Vedic hymn? Because Vedas are giving all the knowledge, but it is like a most of the knowledge is a karma kanda. It is very attractive because it is immediately giving you result, but at the same time, one who knows that Vedas are meant for, like, to understand Krishna, and the aim of the Veda is Krishna. For them, this is not true that these leaves are the hymns. I mean, for them, there is no need to discard this Vedic knowledge. That's what it means. But those who are thinking Vedas as a karma kanda, they should, like, for for those whose understanding is Vedas are something that, like, I want it in return. It is just something, a guide that provides me different things. Then for them, it is said that, like, you have to cut this banyan tree completely, and then find out that place from where you, once you are gone that place, you will never come back. And Prabhupada very nicely explained in the purport that this banyan tree is upside down, means it's a reflection. Then in the second text, it is said that the branches of this tree extends downwards and upwards. So why it is that? Because there are so many different kind of a bodies that we are going through. Sometimes we are going through the lower species of the body. Sometimes we are going to the higher species of the body. And depending on these three modes, like, if the ignorance is very prominent, then it is a lower species. If the goodness is very prominent, then it is a higher species. So like that, these branches are there extended downwards and upwards, and these are nourished by three modes. And then the twigs are the objects of the senses. The twigs are the place where this each and every small branches are connected to this big tree. And what is it? That the senses, the object of the senses, that means that what we see, what are the attractive things in this material world that we want to enjoy, we want to exploit. Those are the things which are connecting us to this tree. Those are the tree which are taking us to different branches. Because the more we want to enjoy these, this sense object, we will travel more towards that branches. These trees, or this tree also has a roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive action of the human society. So again, it is saying that the roots are going down and they are connected with the mentality that I will do something, and that in return I'll get something. And whatever I'm doing, I am the doer, and I have to enjoy that, whatever I'm getting results from my action. So this mentality is what is a root cause of we are staying in this material world, or we are, attached to this particular tree. We are traveling, or branches of this tree, because the main root is because our sense of enjoyment, because we want to enjoy the fruits of our work, and our activities are meant to be producing the fruits. Our activities are not completely offered to the Krishna. They are there so that I can enjoy few things, and that's the reason we are staying on this tree. We are connected or bound to this tree. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world, because the real form is in spiritual world. The spiritual, it is just a reflection. The real form means that whatever we see, that we say that it is love, but it is a lust. But real thing, the love, we cannot perceive in this material world. We have to go to the spiritual world in um, in order to experience this love. So like that, there are so many other things are there in this material world that we see, the relations that we see. we cannot see or we cannot experience that in real sense. We have to go back to the spiritual world in order to experience that. No one can understand where it ends and where it begins and where its foundation is. So this tree, where it ends, where it is beginning, we can't even imagine that, because Brahmadev also, he tried to get down from the lotus flower and that stem. He was trying to check that where it is ending, where it is beginning, but it is so vast that no one can understand that, and we are very, very tiny. This material world is extremely vast and we are very, very tiny, because we are like 1,000 tip of the hair. That is our quantity wise, and our knowledge and everything is also limited, because it is three modes of material nature. They are covering our knowledge and everything, so we are not able to understand where it ends, where it begins, and where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that supreme personality of a godhead from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So again, it is said that how can we cut down this tree? How can we cut down this strongly rooted tree? And the roots are again enjoyment. The roots are to satisfy our senses. So how can we cut down? Is by the weapon of the detachment. And how this detachment will come? With the sacrifices, with the practice, that we are controlling our senses. So every one of us is doing this sadhana, because we are now, we are doing in the beginners are doing, not eating the onion garlic, and not drinking tea. That is how we are controlling our senses. More we get advanced, we are trying to do ekadashis. The more we get advanced, we are doing more and more fasting. We are keeping ourselves, away from then many other vegetables also, that tomatoes, and there are there are, what is it, that many other vegetables are also great personalities, our acharyas are not eating, like mushrooms. These are also all avoided. Even radishes, they don't eat some of them. So more and more they are controlling their senses. Then one more step again, that in Chaturmas, controlling again, staying away from the milk products, staying away from the leafy vegetables. So this is a self-control. Self-control is done so that these roots will be loosened, that we want to enjoy, and automatically the detachment will come. Another thing how detachment will come is by connecting ourselves to something more better, more more fruitful. So connecting ourselves to Krishna will also detach our material hunger, because we are satisfied completely in serving Krishna, so we will not be hungry in this material world to enjoy anything else. So up to these four shlokas, Krishna is explaining about, this material world and how you can detach, and it is all. After that, he's talking about kingdom of the eternal kingdom, and he's explaining that how this eternal kingdom is. So we will see these first four shlokas today. So let's read Sanskrit part first. So Haladar Das Prabhuji, please kindly read this Sanskrit part of these first four shloka for us, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Dhanyavad Mataji. So, chapter 15, the yoga of the Supreme Person. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, text number 1. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Urdhvamula Adhastakam Aswastam Prahur Avyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. So I'll recite it. Urdhvamulam Adhasakam Aswastam Prahur Avyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavit.
Prabhuji, let's read only two shlokas. I don't think we have time, so.
Okay. And you want me to read the translation or no?
No, Prabhuji, just read the Sanskrit part.
Okay. Then text number 2, it's Upjati, verse it's Adhashchordvam prasuta tasya shakha guna pravruddha vishaya pravala adhashtamulani anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke adhashtachodam prasuta tasya shakha guna pravruddha vishaya pravala adhashtamulani anusantatani karmanubandhini manushya loke. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Text number 1. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Urdhvamulamadasyakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavid Adascha Urdhva Prasutastasya Shakha Guna Pravruta Vishaya Pravalaha Adasya Mulanyanusantani Karmanubandhini Manushya Loke. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Please take turn and read these 2 shlokas.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. In just a minute, I need to open this. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Atashakham Ashvatham Prahuravyayam Chandasi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavit. Hare Krishna. Next verse. Atoshchortva prasuta tasya shakha guna pravruddha vishaya prabalaha adascha mulyantu santanati tani karma bandhini manushya loke. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri Ashwatam Parmani Astam Vedavit. Text number 2. अथश्चोर्ध्वं प्रशतस्य शाखा गुणा प्रवृद्धा विषया प्रवाला अधश्च मूलानि अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके. Hare Krishna.
Nice.
Anybody else? Vikas Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Adashakam Ashvatham Prahuravyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Vedsa Vedavit Adhashchordhvam Prasritastasya Shakha Gunah Pravruddha Vishay Pravalaha Adhascha Mulanu Anasantatani Karmanubandhini Manushya Loke. Hare Krishna.
Is Harshita Mataji there? Okay. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, said, Urdhva Moolam means the roots above. Adha Shakam, Adha means downwards. Shakam means branches. Ashwattham means a banyan tree. Prahu means is said. Avyayam means eternal. Chandamsi means the Vedic hymn. Yasyam, of which. Parnani means the leaves. Yaha, anyone who. Tam, that. Veda, knows. Saha, he. Vedavit, the knower of the Vedas. Translation. The Supreme Personality of a Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches down, and those and whose leaves are the Vedic hymn. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, first one is very small. So, first and second, Harshita Mataji, your voice is only not clear. It's breaking, but if you can read it on other phone, then please go ahead with this purport. First 2 paragraphs.
Yes. Yes, Mataji. Put by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. After the discussion of the importance of Bhakti Yoga, one might question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. For one who is engaged in fruitive activities, there is no end to the banyan tree. He wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. The tree of this material world has no end, and for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. This tree's roots grow upwards because they begin from where Brahma is located, the topmost planet of this universe. If one can understand this indestructible tree of a leaf, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pramataji. Thank you so much. Some part was breaking, but so it is very clearly Prabhupada is explaining now one by one this verse, this shloka, and very nicely saying that like how banyan tree means like our fruitative activities, and like if you had seen the banyan tree, there are so many branches going upward, and it's like a lot of things going on in the banyan tree, and it's like huge. So like that it is compared that like all our fruitative activities are like endless. You have like endless desires and endless ways of like you want to enjoy or exploit this material world, and that's why we are caught up in this material world, and we are going upward and downwards. Then it is said that like the trees roots grow upward because they begin from the Brahma, where Brahma is located. So seven planetary system, it's above and seven down. So above seven are called as all Swarga Lokas, down there are Narka Lokas, and the upper one, the topmost is where Brahmadeva lives. So it is saying that from there it starts. So there is a root of this complete world, this material world. Then it is said that Vedic hymn meant for elevating oneself are called as a leaves of this tree, because this leaf is like these leaves are uh, meant for us to go upwards. Means like if you are at the very bottom, patal loka or some other places, you can go to or travel upwards, because these Vedic hymns are giving us different karma kanda or different yagya which will elevate you. So like that you are going towards the root, and then finally you will realize that there is no point living in this tree, and you can go beyond this tree. That is the purpose of this Vedas. Now there is a small this next paragraph. Anybody would like to volunteer to read it? Chamarasika Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Mataji. For 15.1, right? That chapter, or 15.2?
No, it's one only, Mataji.
Right.
And it's the third paragraph.
Third paragraph. Just want to make sure. Okay. So this process of execution should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. The root of this material existence grows upward. This means that it begins from the total material substance, from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches representing the various planetary systems. The fruits represents the results of the living entities' activities, namely religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, it is said like very first sentence that you were reading that there are many processes by which we can get out of the material entanglement. So we read Bhagavad Gita till 14 chapters. What are some of the processes? Can you just add something to it?
There are many processes by which. We know that this is the devotional service is the best way to get out of this material entanglement, like chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and surrender to Krishna and
Other
whatever.
than devotional service, is there
Other
any
than
other?
devotional service, like ritual activities, yajna, havan, home, or punya karma, like dan dharma, for social, like poor people, like that material people think like this. Yeah, Mataji. So this.
So material entanglement, you can get out of material entanglement by doing different kind of yajnas, and like one whole chapter is based on that. Like there are so many yajnas. You can do dravya yajna, jnana yajna, and so that is inclusive of jnana yoga, karma, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and also restraining the senses. So like Patanjali Muni's Ashtanga yoga, everything is, these are some of the processes that using that you can get out of the material engagement. And it is said that devotional service is the best out of it. And why this all is explained, because we are talking about the detachment here, that this tree, we have to detach ourselves from this tree. So that's why this is explained here. Haladar Das Prabhuji, would you like to read the next paragraph?
Yes, Mataji. Now, there is no ready experience in this world of the tree situated with its branches down and its roots upward. But there is such a thing. That tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. We can see that the tree on the bank reflects up upon the water with their branches down and the roots up. In other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. These reflections of the spiritual world is situated on a desire. Just as the trees, the reflections is situated on the water. Desire is the cause of the things being situated in this reflected material light. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through the analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Last line is very nice, that one who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree through analytical study, means Sankhya Yoga. Then again, why we are reading or why we are talking about these three modes in the previous chapter. The next mode, the 16th chapter, we are talking about the demoniac quality. Again, 17th chapter, we are talking about the three modes. So much about the material world is explained in these few chapters, and that is what is explained in this one line, that like through this all these chapters, these chapters are nothing but part of a Sankhya Yoga and Dhyana Yoga, and through this only we will understand that what this tree is and where we are exist, why we are here, and where are we, where is our position, and how we can that will help us get out of it, so we can cut off the relationship with it. Thank you. Vikas Prabhu, there is a last paragraph, if you can please.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I'm not near the book, Mataji.
Okay, no problem, Prabhuji. Harshita Mataji, can you please read again the last one?
Miss Mataji, Mataji from where?
Yes. Is Sumati Mataji there?
No.
Okay, go ahead, read, Mataji.
Mataji, from where should I start? I will.
Yeah, the last paragraph, Mataji. This tree being the reflection of the real tree.
This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Everything here and everything there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the roots of this material tree, and from the root, according to Sankhya philosophy, comes Prakriti, Purush, and then Triguna, and then the five gross elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, and then the 10 senses, Dashendriya, mind, etc., etc. In this way, they divide up the whole material world into 24 elements. The Brahman is the center of all manifestations. Then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. The material world is a perverted reflection. So the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality, the Prakriti is the Supreme Lord Himself, and that is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. The first manifestation of a reflection is temporary, for it's sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. When it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed he knows how to cut off attachment to this material world. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formula of the Vedas is attracted by the beautiful feelings of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of God in Himself, to condemn this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Your voice was breaking, but thank you again. So last four lines are talking about the Vedas, what Vedas are. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. So reflection we have to cut off, which is reflection is a temporary. So we have to understand that we can't cut off, but we have to focus more on the real tree and don't worry about the reflection. Because once you move the water or you put a rock in the water, then anyway the reflection will look so weird, or it will even sometimes vanish. So we have to think more about the real tree and not about the reflection. And it is said that the reflection is a temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen, but the origin from where the reflection is reflected is eternal. The material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. When it is said that the person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off the attachment of this material world. So Vedas are also talking about the detachment. Vedas are also talking about yajna, means again sacrifices, and that is a way to detach ourselves. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who is attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Veda, it attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. So Vedas are here explained in two sense. It's like a attractive leaves, which is for the karma kandis, and then for some, it is a tool to detach ourselves from this tree. So he does not know the purpose of the Vedas. The one who does not know the purpose of Veda, for him, it is just a attractive list. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of a Godhead Himself, is cut down the reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. Now it is 8:36, so we will stop here. We will take the second text next time. We will start from the purport. Thank you again. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री विलास ठाकुर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गुरु महाराज की जय। भगवद गीता की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्णा। दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Dandavat pranam.